call the meeting to order and ask our good friend Mr. Miller to lead us in the pledge of allegiance. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mr. Neston.
Here.
Miller. Bergdorf.
Here.
Clay. Lanahan. Here. Mr.
Here.
Cunningham. Here. Dawson. Here. Mullins. Here. Drake. Mr. Drake. Duck. Here. Baker. Bailey.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Brick. Here. Higgins. Yes. Hogan. Here. Joyce. Here. Joyce. Here. Yes.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Here.
Mariello.
Here.
McKnight. McLean.
Yes.
Here. Miller.
Here.
Ryan. Reinhardt.
Here.
Signer.
Here.
Sims.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
Touche.
Here.
Cunningham.
Here.
Ward.
Here. Under previous business, resolution 848.
Resolution number 848, 2016, amending the Albany County Legislative Rules of Order.
Mendy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in support of this resolution. This is really a very simple resolution. 2.5 years ago, I brought forth to this body, actually the previous body, a resolution that says no single individual legislator, is above the majority of this legislature. What this does is tries to clarify one issue. The Rules of Order, number 27, reaffirms that any legislator has the freedom to question a ruling or decision of the chairman. In fact, it's a little more specific than that. It says that any decision of the chair can be questioned by putting forward a challenge to the chair. This resolution clarifies 2 points. First of all, it includes any motion pursuant to Rule 23. Rule 23 is the authority of the chairman to send resolutions and local laws to committee or not. That was always the sticking point, and that's where we would get most of the challenges to decisions. This will allow for any decision, including a decision to send a piece of legislation back to committee or to pass it on for a vote, can be challenged by a member of this august body. It also calls for a roll call vote. Originally, and we've made some improvements over the last couple of years, we originally used to do these on a voice vote. Voice votes were always kind of challenging in their perception of what side won. So I want to take away any perception that might be one-sided, one way or the other, with a roll call vote. So it's very simple. It includes decisions on whether they're going to go to the committee, and it'll always be a roll call vote. That's the basis of this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mendy. In keeping with the character of this legislature, I'll ask for a long roll call, please.
Thank you.
Beston.
No.
Bullock.
No.
Bergdorf.
Aye.
Chapman. Blake.
No.
Lanahan.
No.
Camissa.
No.
Rouse.
No.
Cunningham.
Yes.
Dawson.
Yes.
Tomallowitz.
No.
Duncan.
No.
Baker.
No.
Kane.
No.
Fine.
No.
Grimm.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Hogan.
No.
Joyce. Campbell. Joyce. Ring.
No.
Lakakis.
Yes.
Lockhart.
No.
Moriello.
Yes.
Mayo.
Yes.
McKnight.
No.
McLean Lane.
Yes.
Mendick.
Yes.
Miller.
No.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Reinhardt.
No.
Thank you. Signer.
No.
Simpson.
Yeah.
Smith.
No.
Stevens.
Yes.
Touche.
No.
Honey.
No.
Ward.
No.
Willingham. Thank you. It's like 25-13, it's defeated.
Motion fails. Resolution 260.
Authorizing conveyance of various parcels of real property to the Owen County Land Bank.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. 266.
Amending Rule 2 of the Albany County Legislative Rules of Order of Legislative State Garage.
Mr. Bowe.
I'd like to amend the resolution 266 by adding the following language. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Albany County Legislature acknowledges the public forum is an important part of our monthly meetings and will include these forums in our recordings of these meetings, live streaming, and on the county website.
Thank you, Mr. Bullock. Mr. O'Brien.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have an amendment on the floor. We'll do a roll call on the amendment. Mr. Kraus, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask the sponsor of the amendment a question?
Absolutely.
On the amendment, Mr. Bullock? Those changes, those are the only changes, everything else in the resolution you agree with?
If this is accepted, yes.
Could I impose upon the sponsor to read those one more time, or have the clerk?
Is a copy of this on every desk?
No, I put a copy on.
Could I ask, I'll ask the clerk to read it, please.
Okay.
Is there, thank you.
Amendment by Mr. Moore, Resolution 266. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Albany County Legislature acknowledges the public forum as an important part of our monthly meetings and will include these forums in our recordings, live streaming, and on the county website.
Thank you. Are we clear on what we're voting on? On the amendment, vote yes would mean you're in favor of Mr. Bullock's amendment. Vote no would mean you're opposed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Beston.
No.
Bullock.
Yes.
Bergdorf.
Yes.
Schatz. Flagg.
No.
Flanagan.
Yes.
Camisto.
No.
Kraus.
Yes.
Nottingham.
Yes.
Dawson.
Yes.
Tomallowitz.
Yes.
Duncan.
No.
Iker.
No.
Feeney.
No.
Fine.
Yes.
Grimm.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yep.
Lekakis.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Morrell.
Yes.
Mayo.
Yes.
McKnight.
No.
McLean.
Yes.
Mendick.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Reinhardt.
Yes.
Sigurachi.
No.
Simpson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Touche.
Yes.
Honey.
Yes.
Ward.
No.
Willingham. It's like 27-11, the amendment
Amendment passes.
passes.
On the original,
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment also. I'd like the clerk to read it, if I may.
Proposed amendment by Mr. Dawson to Resolution 266. In the first resolve clause, insert as follows. The chairperson of the Albany County Legislature shall allow each member of the public, resident of Albany County, whose name has reached 5 minutes to address the legislature. The chairperson shall likewise allow non-residents to address the legislature, provided that they are an employer and property taxpayer in Albany County, or a leader of a not-for-profit corporation with a staff office in Albany.
Chairman, may I speak?
Absolutely, Mr.
I'm not sure that everyone understands what's going on here, but our current rules state that the chairperson of the county legislature shall allow each member of the public whose name is reached to address us. And what I'm proposing is we delete member of the public and substitute resident of Albany County. For the following reasons. Years and years ago, when these rules were first adopted, long before any of us were here, excuse me, except for Gil Wheat here. What I'm sure they thought when they said member of the public, because they had to speak on issues affecting Albany County, is they were talking about the resident of Albany County. So really all I'm doing here is clarifying that members of the public are our residents of Albany County, our constituents. And what this amendment does is make it clear and gives our constituents an opportunity to have to speak before non-residents. So, except, and I got some input from others on this, a non-resident who's an employer in Albany County, who pays taxes in Albany County, or a leader of a civic organization that has a staff office in Albany County, they're bona fide as much as resident as anybody else. They have something for us to hear. If there's time at the end of within our 1 hour, then non-residents can speak. Or, as in Mr. Signoracci's resolution, which I think is very helpful here, the chair has the discretion to waive the 1 hour time limit anyway, like he did tonight. If someone couldn't sign up at the time between 6:15 and 6:30, the chair, at his discretion or her discretion, can waive that. So, I'm just saying that a member of the public equals a resident of Albany County. I don't think the non-resident should be displacing our constituents who come down here to speak, to address us, right? And so that's their time first. If there's time for the others, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Berger.
Just a point of order, Mr. Chairman. Should we have gotten copies of these? I understand what Charlie, I think he's saying, but having not seen the words.
Mr. Berger, if I don't disagree with you, that the rules state that you can file an amendment with the clerk.
No, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. May I ask,
You may.
proposed amender?
Yes.
Could you please describe or read again slowly, thank you, you've got your resident, your person who lives here, now your business owner, could you go?
Right, and if anybody should understand what I'm trying to attempt to do here, it's you, because you had this conversation.
That's why
We want people with a nexus in Albany County, even if they aren't a resident, to have an opportunity to address us.
Right.
Because we're going to learn something from them. They pay taxes. A non-resident who's an employer, for example, hires Albany County residents in their business, or pays property taxes in our county. We want to hear from that person. They have a vested interest in the success of our county, and we need to hear from them. Okay. Also, there's a large number of not-for-profit organizations who have offices in Albany County, who employ people who live in Albany County. They too, I've heard from my colleagues, that they should have an opportunity to speak as well. As long as they're here, sign up between 6:15 and 6:30, as long as their name is reached within the hour period, they should have an opportunity to speak just as any other resident. And then I have the other category, the non-residents.
Thank you. And
Thank you. Mr. Kraus, you were next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Would the sponsor yield to a question?
Yes, I'd be happy to, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. So if I understand you correctly, at the very end of the line, someone who is not a resident in Albany County, who does not have a business in Albany County, who does not pay taxes in Albany County, could still, if time permitted, come and speak on an issue.
Correct, but if following Mr. Signoracci's protocol, they would be speaking on an agenda item
Correct.
that night. And if there's not time, as Mr. Signoracci and also Mr. Waters have proposed, they can then address, if it's worth their while, after our meeting.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mullins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in support of the amendment.
Because what comes to my mind is during the styrofoam bill conversations, public forum, and having a senator from Central New York come down here and speak in front of us, who happens to have a manufacturer in his district. Now, this gentleman is taking time away from people who live in Albany County, voters in Albany County. I personally don't need to hear from him unless he's coming down with mandate relief. That'd be great. I haven't heard that. But I think it's great. I think it's a good move. I have no problem with that. I mean, we have these lobbyists that come out. We've never had lobbyists before come down and speak with us. Now we're getting lobbyists down here who don't live in the county, representing businesses outside our county. So, I think it's only right that the county taxpayer, the county resident should have the right to speak first. There's nothing wrong with that. Charlie, I commend you for that. Thank you.
Mr. Grimm.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Dawson, Neal, for some
I'd
questions.
be happy to, Mr. Chairman.
What if you run an Albany County business but are not the owner? Would you be able to speak to an issue that directly affects their business?
Well, I would say the owner, right, we want the,
Because there are a lot of Albany County businesses who are run by people who are not the
I
owner.
think a resident is someone who lives here and is our constituent. If you own a business, then it's important enough for the owner to address this body, then the owner should show up, not one of his lobbyists. The owner should show up. The same thing with the leader of a civic organization. They should show up as if they are the resident. If you want to, go somewhere else with this, that's fine. But my proposal is they have to speak for themselves. It's that important for us to take the place of an Albany County resident, then they should speak.
Well, my only issue would be, if you're running an Albany County business, you're generating a lot of tax for the county. And that person may be the best person to speak to the issue as opposed to the owner. So I would amend it to include anyone who runs an Albany County business, run/owner.
Mr. Dawson, has this been, have you asked to amend this in committee before?
No.
I'm wondering if, and I like the thought process, but I think there's a little confusion. I want to make sure that I've got all the wording correct. Is it something that you might want to introduce?
I think it's very clear, Mr. Chairman. A resident of Albany County gets to speak before a non-resident, as Mr. Demalowitz said. We don't need someone coming in from Western New York.
I agree
Displacing
with
my
the thought
constituents
process.
or any of our other constituents.
I-
They're taxpayers in Albany County. We deserve to hear them. They deserve to get to speak with us. I think that's very clear. Someone said that my proposal is too complex. I think it's very, very simple.
I don't
Albany
think
County
it's-
residents have a priority over non-residents, except for a certain special class of non-residents.
Mr.
Thank you.
Dawson, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just want to make sure everybody is clear on what we're voting on. Mr. Clennahan, you had your hand up?
Sure, thank you.
Chair of the Walk Committee?
Well, yeah, I did want to bring that up. I don't have any disagreement with this concept. I think it's a good one. I'm concerned about some of the gray areas, and we mentioned some of these in the Law Committee a few weeks ago, and I think that the resolution that Mr. Dawson originally introduced is still on the table there. A couple of funny things I can see coming up is in terms of what's a resident. Mr. Dawson mentioned a not-for-profit organization, which I think makes sense, but what about a not-for-profit that may not be in Albany County but has substantial membership? There's residents in Albany County. They're still speaking for them. What if Environmental Advocates of New York picked up and moved to Rensselaer County tomorrow? 80% of their membership is still Albany County. Are they a resident? I know when we've done a lot of environmental measures, Riverkeeper came up from the Mid-Hudson to speak in favor of them. They're not obviously in Albany County, but they have significant membership in Albany County. I think that's a gray area. I also wonder about if a union comes to speak. Most unions are actually headquartered outside of Albany County, but what if their members are substantial Albany County residents? Are they a resident? I would be remiss if I didn't mention my good friend Renee Barchita, who had a large role in saving the nursing home and came here to speak every month. She doesn't live in Albany County anymore. What about the situation of somebody who's speaking for an Albany County resident who can't be here to speak for themselves, like her mom? And I also wonder about what we do with a lobbyist. If an out-of-state company like, say, the Dart Corporation hires a lobbyist in Albany County, Can the Albany County lobbyist speak as a resident and get around this rule? I don't have any opposition or any concern with this concept, and I salute Mr. Dawson for saying it. I think we have some details to flesh out, and I will pledge to work with him to do that if we can move forward with this tonight. I think there's some gray areas that we still need to figure out. I just gave 4 examples right there.
Mr. Chairman, if I can respond to, long, if a law, for example, a lobbyist representing Guard Corporation, if that lobbyist happens to be an Albany County resident, they can speak now anyway, all right? If they're a member of Riverkeeper or Environmental Advocates, and Environmental Advocates moves across, they can still speak if there's time. And they have, as Mr. Clennahan said, they have many members in Albany County. Any one of those members can speak as an Albany County resident. So they're not being excluded whatsoever. And if he wants to do an amendment next month, fine, I have more. The council only put half of my proposal into law without my approval that it be introduced. So this is my amendment. This is the only amendment I'm asking Albany County residents to take priority. If you want to vote against it, very simple, vote against it.
Well, I think my suggestion was to clarify, that's all.
I think, Mr. Chairman, it's very clear. I don't
It's
see how.
clear to you, but I'm hearing other people.
You don't know what an Albany County resident is?
I am very clear of what an Albany County resident is.
Go ahead, put it back.
Are we going to ID? Mr. Clennahan, you had the
I did want to respond briefly to that, and I don't think that answers all the questions, because Riverkeeper is not an Albany County organization in the Mid-Hudson Valley. What about their Albany County membership? Are they allowed to speak? Mr. Dawson is saying that might be covered
They're
here.
an Albany
That's
County
not.
resident, they can speak.
I think I have the floor, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Dawson.
Thank you. All I'm saying is clarify these type of situations. The union situation is very unclear. Rene Barcia's situation is unclear. I'm not looking to stop this. I agree with the concept, and I don't know what a soliloquy is in this concept, but I just want to hash out the details so we're doing the right thing. And frankly, if the sponsor had been at the law committee a couple weeks ago, we could have had that discussion there and maybe hash out these details before tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Cunningham. Ms. Cunningham.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say one thing. I'm supporting this because this is only about prioritizing. It's not saying that nobody can speak if they're not an Albany County resident. All this does is prioritize our constituents, our business owners, our not-for-profits that are headquartered in Albany. Other folks, riverkeepers who are not headquartered here, who don't live in Albany County, are perfectly able to speak. We're just prioritizing our constituents, our business owners, our not-for-profits in this community. After the Styrofoam bill, I kind of agree with Gary where there was a lot of kind of outside folks coming in. I don't have a problem with that, but I would like to see us prioritize our constituents, our taxpayers, our business owners, and folks who live and work in Albany County. I think that's fair. It doesn't mean that others can't speak. It just means our residents go first. That seems to make a lot of good sense. Thank you.
Good. Mr. Sigarachi.
As a sponsor of this bill, I wanted to know if from the chair and from council, seeing as we have numerous amendments, if I can ask for this to be placed back in the law so we can rework and retool this and have it come out next month on the next agenda, and we can wind up working with.
You are the sole sponsor, Mr. Sigarachi?
I am the sole
Is
sponsor.
the law committee okay with that?
The law committee is okay. I look forward to both sponsors being there to discuss this next month.
I'll send this to the law committee.
Thank you, sir.
Under current business,
Absolutely.
resolution 268.
Voted on by the body. All good.
Oh, yes, clerk just informed me, I should clarify that 266 will return to law as amended.
As amended, correct,
As amended.
yes.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman, I have moved my amendment. I'd like that to be included.
I'm sending it to law, Mr. Dawson.
I'd like to include that as amendment. I'd like to have a
It
vote.
wasn't
I propose an amendment. I'd like to have a vote on it.
Mr. Dawson, I was suggesting you just talk to Mr. Clennahan.
Mr. Chairman, I submitted an amendment. I would like to have it voted on tonight.
I just threw it to committee.
There was an amendment on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
Wasn't seconded, and I asked for it to go back to committee.
Seconded.
Put back to committee.
Sorry, that.
The amendment, the motion was to put the amendment on the vote.
Resolution 268, please.
Public hearing of proposed local law act 2016.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 269.
Authorizing the agreement with New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services regarding written crisis services amendment 2017.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 270.
Authorizing submission of a grant application and agreement with the New York State Coalition Against Sexual Assault regarding the Sexual Assault Service Program.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 271.
Amending 2017 Department of Public Works budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 272.
Amending the contract with Cass Chemical Company Inc. regarding provisions of sodium hypochlorite for use at the North Plant for water purification.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 273.
Authorizing the agreement with Schenectady County Community College for the Albany County Nursing Home to be training students.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 274.
Authorizing the agreement with Mid-State Industries Limited regarding the service elevator project at the Albany County Nursing Home.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 275.
Amending Resolution 2830 and 33 of 2017 regarding home delivery meals.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 276.
Approving the collective bargaining agreement with CSEA Local 801 Sheriff's Non-Security Unit amending 2017 Albany County budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 277.
Authorizing submission of grant application to the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services regarding emergency preparedness initiative.
All those in favor, Mr. Joyce?
No, my extension.
That's filed.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 278.
Authorizing an agreement with the Voorheesville Central School District for rental of the baseball field.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 279.
Authorizing conveyance of real property located at Castle Court, the town of Colony.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 280.
Authorizing conveyance of real property located at 41A Troon Place, in the town of Colony.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 281.
Authorizing conveyance of real property located at 81A Frederick Ave, in the town of Colony.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 282.
Authorizing conveyance of real property located at 96A Hackett.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 283.
Authorizing cancellation and chargeback of unenforceable delinquent real property tax liens in the town of Colony.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 284.
Requesting the New York State Department of Transportation to release maintenance jurisdiction over land in State Route 85 in the town of Westerville.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 285.
Authorizing conveyance of the town right away, Highway 85, in the town of Westerville.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 286.
Authorizing conveyance of real property located at 77 Singer Road, in the town of Holmes.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 287.
Authorizing the distribution of mortgage tax period October 1, 2016 to March 31st, 2017.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 268.
Public hearing on Albany County Capital Program 2018-2022.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 289.
Authorizing conveyance of real property located at 57 Central Terrace in the city of Cohoes.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 290.
Authorizing submission of grant application to the New York State Canal Corporation regarding reimbursement for marine patrol services.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 291.
Authorizing agreement with the State of New York Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for continued work on the countywide 911 communication system and amending the 2017 Sheriff's Office budget.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? passes. 292.
Authorizing an agreement with New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee regarding 2018 Highway Safety Program.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 293.
Authorizing a lease agreement between the town of New Scotland, the village of Voorheesville, and the county of Albany for use of the building located at 21 Voorheesville Avenue.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 294.
Public hearing of proposed local law 8 for 2017.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 295.
Public hearing of proposed local law F for 2017.
All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. 296.
Setting the policy of Albany County regarding background checks of employees.
I'd like to refer that to the law and personnel committees under local law D.
Local law D for 2017, a local law of the county of Albany, amending local law 8 for 1993 is amended for the purpose of clarifying the time frame pursuant to section 309 of the charter, the structure of the planning department, and changing the name of the Albany County Steward.
Roll call, please.
Best in favor. Bullock.
Yes.
Burgdorf.
Aye.
Chapman. Clay.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Grimstad.
Yes.
Kraus.
Yes.
Cunningham.
Yes.
Dawson.
Yes.
Malowitz.
Yes.
Duncan. Yes. Ethier. Sweeney.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Grimm.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
McConkey.
Yes.
Hopper.
Yes.
Mario.
Yes.
Mayo.
Yes.
McKnight.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Hendrick.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
O'Brien.
Yes.
Reinhardt.
Yes.
Sigurd.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Shea.
Yes.
Cunningham.
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
Wilbraham. Unanimous.
Local law passes. Local law B for 2017.
The local law of the county of Albany, New York, creating a limited exemption for real property taxes for qualified conservation easement exemption agreements within the town of Bethlehem.
Mr. Miller?
I rise in opposition to this bill. There's numerous problems with it. I have numerous letters to the editor and articles out of the Spotlight going back to 2014 that seem to indicate that the Bethlehem Town Board created this problem when they did the last reassessment. And the supervisor also quoted here as stating that the properties were being overassessed, the residential properties, and the vacant properties were being underassessed, so that's why they did a reassessment. Now we're coming back and we're asking the county to rectify the situation along with the town, which is, I understand the town's already passed the town board and Bethlehem School District has passed it, and that has created some problems with the way the exemptions have been distributed. For instance, in the Elmwood Park Fire District, which happens to cover 3 towns, the town of Bethlehem, town of Scotland, and the town of Gilboa, the way the assessment is going to be applied is it's going to be applied to all those 3 towns. So if you live in the town of Gilboa, in the Elmwood Park Fire District, and there's an exemption granted, which there is a consideration of an exemption in the town of Bethlehem, that exemption will be applied to the taxpayers of the town of Bethlehem and also the town of Scotland. For those of you who may not be familiar with the town of Scotland section, the Elmwood Park Fire District is very rural. There's no water, no sewers down that area. There's lots of open space. So what you're saying is that the residents of that area are going to be paying for an exemption in the town of Bethlehem for a conservation easement. And it's not that I oppose conservation easements. I love open space and I enjoy it very immensely, but I don't think that other taxpayers should be paying for that open space. Also, it's difficult to get out that the circumstances, this change was required by the town board, and I think that they need to correct it on their own and not ask the county to buy into a law that's already has flaws in it. And I believe also the Bethlehem School District overlaps into the town of Scotland, so therefore that exemption for the town Bethlehem School District is going to apply to town of Scotland residents also in those parts of the area. So it's not just the town of Bethlehem's being affected. And that these pieces I'm talking about have already been enacted by the town of Bethlehem. So it's not like we could change that, but they're asking us to buy into it also, and I don't think we should. And also lastly, There's no requirement for public access to land if they're granted an easement, so there may not be a lot of benefit for any of the other residents in the area. And also, it becomes very hard to get out of this once you sign into this easement. So if some circumstances change, such as a death in the family or some, a major illness where the person needs to sell that land, they have to go back to town board to receive approval. And there's penalties, which I understand there's penalties, but there's potential that the town board may not even approve them getting out of that. So I think there needs to be some changes in that law, the way it's worded already. And I don't think that our county legislator should be approving additions to this law that feels flawed.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Reinhardt.
Today seems to be the day where local law B is getting confused with other things going on, such as the real estate transfer tax. That legislation in the state failed, and it's really not on the table tonight. The reassessments that happened in Bethlehem, when I served on the town board, did cause people to write letters to the editor, as Paul mentioned, but it has nothing to do with local law B. I would say that the interest in preserving land in Bethlehem is totally separate from any reassessments that happen. Does the local law B enable a large landowner who, one argument would go, had seen their taxes be artificially low for many, many years, because we haven't reassessed in many, many years the large landowners, would this create a way for them to get some relief? Yes. But that's not why the bill was passed. But that is, the assessment is why we had those letters to the editor that you alluded to. The support for local law B is very strong, and I would remind everybody that it has been in place now for a couple of years. As Mr. Martens testified earlier, we do have participation. We have not seen property tax hikes hitting people, whether they're in New Scotland or in the RCS districts. Everybody who lives within the town of Bethlehem, indeed people beyond the town of Bethlehem, will be able to have access to whatever open lands are preserved through this initiative. So it's a public good that we are creating. It's a very cost-effective way. I dare say much more cost-effective than the government buying land to keep it open, which is what the more recent initiative would do, totally separate from the issue of easement rights and what we're actually considering tonight. So I encourage members not to be confused by unrelated issues that are being raised tonight. This is a simple measure. It is in place. It is working in Bethlehem now, but it would work better if the county would opt in the same way that the Bethlehem School District did. And whether the other school districts do or not in time, it still means that we're creating open space that is available to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reinhardt. One roll call, please. Ms. Cunningham, sorry.
Thank you. I just wanted to add a couple of thoughts to the discussion on this. Just a couple of things were mentioned that I think it's worth just kind of correcting the record. First of all, Bill is right. This has nothing to do with the state legislation, which, by the way, is not moving. The legislature will have to be reintroduced, pass the assembly, and is not come out of the Senate. The other discussion that was taking place was sort of the notion that this hasn't been discussed and debated over and over again in Bethlehem. It has. And the discussion actually goes back many, many years. The issue and the idea of creating tools for municipalities to use to preserve open space and to curtail development actually goes way back in Bethlehem, way back to the early 2000s, where the town of Bethlehem actually had a committee to talk about different ideas. No legislation came out of that, but that was the formative process where the town said, look, there's a lot of people that are really concerned about growth. Even at that point, what can we do about it? And it was at that point that the town solicited input about different kinds of tools, and there actually was a vast majority of individuals who said quite clearly, you know what, we care about open space, and we want to see the town develop tools, and if they cost us a few pennies more in our taxes, we're okay with that. If you fast forward to the development of this is one, what I would call a very modest tool for municipalities to use. That's not something like Bill said, where the government's actually purchasing the land. It's a tool for a landowner who may not want to develop their land, for them to say, you know what, I'm willing to get a little bit of a break on my property taxes and preserve my land and not feel pressure to develop it. So it's one tool that municipalities have. Other more drastic tools are things like actually putting prohibitions in your communities on growth and development. We tried that, and there is a big outcry, and folks don't want that limitation. So this is a real creative way, and just one small tool, it's actually a very small tool, to use for municipalities to encourage more conservation for large landowners. The school board of Bethlehem debated this not once but twice, and had deep discussion and actually required a technical correction which was made. And that was way back in 2015. So this has been on our public's radar for many, many years in the town of Bethlehem, having gone in front of the school board not once but twice. The town board debated it extensively. We had public meetings. We had lots of folks show up who encouraged this type of tool, this type of municipal tool for the town of Bethlehem to use. And just finally, I think there's a lot of talk about something which is quite simply a home rule issue. It has no bearing on the county of Albany, other than it's actually quite a clever experiment for Albany County to look at to see if tools like this actually do help curtail excessive development. We're all seeing that in our towns. I know you're hearing it from your constituents. We are too in Bethlehem. And having served on the school board, where the per pupil cost in Bethlehem is $16,000 per year in Bethlehem to educate a student. State aid doesn't come close, as you might imagine, to covering that cost. So on top of that, that adds pressure on your school tax load. And schools are trying to figure out, ways to balance their own budgets. And we do have pressures. We have, contracts and the cost of living, and everything goes up every year, yet the dollars are shrinking coming in the door. This is one way, a very small way, that has literally pennies of effect on other tax owners to smartly curtail or incentivize folks who are considering what to do with their large parcels of land. It's not a requirement, it's an option, and like the commissioner said, we've had two folks that have actually come forward and are appropriate for this type of mechanism. So there's not a flood of folks, but if it's two properties and one is on the Norman scale, and that helps alleviate pressure for the beautiful Norman scale, then that's a win as well. I would encourage my colleagues to think about the home rule aspect of this, and think about the fact that it is a very, very modest tool for municipalities like Bethlehem to try to incentivize folks to keep their space green. It's not going to solve the problem, but maybe it will tell us something about other tools to use in our communities that can curtail the excessive growth that we're seeing, the new developments that, by the way, the developers pay for sidewalks, but you know what? Who's maintaining those sidewalks and roads? Our highway department in Bethlehem, which is already taxed, and I'll tell you, the employees right there haven't, the workforce hasn't increased over the years, even though we've seen massive development. In fact, it's the same crew that now there's more pressure to do snow removal and build sidewalks and pick up leaves and pick up brush and provide all those services. So this is one way, again, It's a municipal tool that towns like Bethlehem and perhaps yours will evaluate the outcome of and see if it makes sense. So I would encourage my colleagues to consider that, and thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Jamalowitz?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise in support of the local law. For me, I represent the city of Albany. So this is a win. Not costing my constituents penny in property tax, county tax. I have many constituents in my district who support open space. So they're going to get open space available to them at no cost. So that's a plus. Secondly, I'm about a mile from Bethlehem, my district. So my constituents go to Bethlehem every day. They enjoy Bethlehem. So it really doesn't affect me as a representative of the city of Albany tax-wise. It's not affecting my taxpayers at all. But there's a benefit to them so we can maintain open space in the town of Bethlehem. So for me, it's an easy decision. I support open space. We've done it here many times supporting open space. And most importantly, too, is that all the elected officials in the town support it. I'm not running for re-election in the town of Bethlehem. If this goes south, Thank you. they have to answer for it, not me. I think that when you have the assemblyman come down, the assemblyman speak on it, the town board passed it unanimously. I know we passed home rule messages here, and it doesn't get acted on or it doesn't get changed up there. I know I'd be upset because I represent Albany 10th legislative district. I hopefully know what my constituents want. And there's nobody in this room that knows Bethlehem better than that town board. And if they say it's supportive, then I would support that tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Mr. Jamalowitz. Mr. Bergman?
I'm also going to rise to support this, this measure. I come from a community where development and traffic is a major concern. And we're going through a process right now. The town has put together a comprehensive plan update, and it's looking at ways to preserve open space and open land. And I got to tell you, there's a parcel of land which is actually, I think, in Pete Tunney's district, but it's on the edge of mine, next to the North Colony Highway Garage. That was a beautiful wood stand, which is now going to have 320 homes and apartments feeding into Shaker Road and 155 and Wade Road, and it's absolutely going to decimate neighborhoods and traffic. You know, why would we deny a community? I don't know that your approach is the right approach for Colony, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for your elected officials who made some very, very hard decisions to try what was right for Bethlehem. So in some small way, they could preserve a parcel of land. You know, everybody else, there are cities here where we help them, whether it's land to use for their purposes, for their best ways, or to move a barn, or to do a railroad crossing. We come to each other's assistance. And this really is a home rule message, because this is important to the town of Bethlehem. And hopefully, we're going to support those who have, I mean, very few things is there unanimity in. But when I hear that the town board and the county legislative delegation and the school board have done this time and time and time again, and they put their own credibility on the line, I'm going to accept that. I'm going to accept that that's the best thing for Bethlehem. And ask yourself, when you come to this body for something that affects your community, where you think you're making the best judgment, whether you want your colleagues who don't live in your community to say, nah, I don't think so. But with that, I believe that this is a pro-preservation, pro-open spaces tool that's good for Bethlehem, and it may be good for other places in the county, and I'm willing to support it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
One roll call, please.
Mr. Beston?
No.
Bullock?
Yes.
Bergdorf?
Yes.
Chapman? Blake?
No.
Monahan?
Yes.
Camiso? No. Kraus?
No.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Dawson?
Yes.
Tomolowitz?
Yes.
Duncan?
Yes.
Ethier?
No.
Feeny?
Yes.
Fine?
Yes.
Grimm?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Hogan?
No.
Joyce?
Yes.
Joyce?
No.
Leckhart?
Absolutely.
Lockhart?
No.
Oriel?
Yes.
Mayo?
Yes.
McKnight?
No.
McLean Lane?
Yes.
Benedict?
Yes.
Miller?
No.
O'Brien?
Yes.
Reinhardt?
Yes.
Signorachi?
No.
Simpson?
No.
Smith?
No.
Stevens?
Yes.
Touche?
No.
Tunny?
No.
Ward?
No.
Willingham? Thank you. It's like 2018, it passes.
Local law passes. Local law E for 2017.
Local law, the county law in New York proposing an additional 1% rate tax on sales and use of tangible personal property and certain services and on the occupancy of hotel rooms and amusement charges pursuant to Article 29 of the tax law of the state of New York.
Would you refer that to what finance, please? Local law F.
A local law, the county law of New York, repealing the wireless communication surcharge authorized by Article 6 of the county law of the state of New York, set forth in the county local law 9 of 2009, and imposing a wireless communication surcharge pursuant to the authority of tax law 186.
Refer that to what finance, please?
Thank you.
Mr. Camiso?
Yes, I'd like to vote Rule 11 for the purpose of introducing the resolution.
The resolution is on everyone's desk. I'd like to also note that additional sponsors have been filed with the clerk. Mr. Higgins would like to be added, Mr. Joyce and Mr. Joyce. All those who were at caucus the other night are already on. Those who weren't on caucus that are interested, Mr. Simpson, the Malowitz. Let's see the clerk here. Mr. Feeney, Mr. Joyce, I got you. Please read resolution 297, please.
Resolution supporting the efforts of the county attorney to individually file on behalf of Cook County or joining multi-plaintiff lawsuit against major drug manufacturers to recover current and future damages to the county taxpayers from the abuse of opioid pharmaceuticals.
I just want to point out that I did receive an email from the county attorney today. I believe all of you have, that they have signed with a national level law firm to join this lawsuit. And I assume will join others later. So it should be pointed out. Ms. McLean Lane?
Thank you very much. On June 13th, I had sent you an email and also to Majority Council in regard to this lawsuit. And I know that you have been working on this, and I'm so greatly pleased that this resolution has come forth. I personally know 5 people, young adults, who are dead because of the use of opioids, and their families obviously devastated. This epidemic in our community, as it is an epidemic across New York State, of course, is partially the fault of these companies. And their aggressive marketing of these opioids for pain relief, unfortunately, has killed a generation of people. And they should be held personally, professionally responsible for this. And I certainly hope that just like the tobacco legislation that was so successful, that the cost to our county, the human cost, is obviously something that is, we can never recoup that. However, the cost to our Medicaid services, to Medicaid, to our Sheriff's Department, to our jail, to our Child Protective Services, and I think it just crosses every single one of our social services departments, the millions of dollars a year that we're spending because of this. And hopefully, this lawsuit is successful. It will obviously take time. This is a first step. I commend our leadership, and I commend the county executive for taking this so seriously and knowing that Albany County should absolutely be a part of that. I believe this will make us number 10 of the counties that have decided to hold these companies accountable. And I couldn't be more proud of our county today to take an aggressive stance on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Dawson?
I'd like to point out that while the costs to the county from the opioid epidemic are great, it's not going to cost the county of Albany taxpayers 1 cent for this, because it's being done pursuant to a contingency. If we should win this lawsuit, then the mass tort people representing us will receive 25%. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dawson. Mr. DeMowers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be great. I just want to rise and congratulate and compliment our county executive for taking the lead on this. This is an important issue to many of our constituents in Albany County. And not only are we taking the lead in Albany County, but the county executive is taking the lead on a national level as vice president of the County's Executive Associations of America. So Albany County is out front on this. We are number 10 on this. And we also have the good wisdom to hire one of the best law firms in the country that do this type of work. And I feel confident that the people who've been victimized by these opioids, because they're being rented heroin and everything else, it's a big mess, that I think hopefully we'll have our day in court. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeMowers. Mr. Higgins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just very briefly want to rise in support of this resolution and thank the leadership as well as the county executive for entering the county into this as a plaintiff. You know, the opioid and heroin epidemic that we face not only in this city, in this county, and in the state is international. It knows no socioeconomic borders. It affects people of all ages, races, creeds, sexes. It's probably one of the single biggest public health crises we have faced in this nation, probably since the AIDS epidemic. That's how serious it is. And, you know, we need to get to the bottom of some of the very startling statistics about the use of opioids in this country. We need to ask people, why does America represent 5% of the world's population and yet consume over 80% of the amount of opioids that are supplied by Big Pharma? That's a scary statistic. And this lawsuit is going to give us an opportunity, I think, to delve into some of those facts and bring to light a lot of information about the marketing of these drugs, these powerful pain prescription medicines, and hopefully provide some of the families that have lost loved ones with a little relief and solace many years down the line. So thank you, I'll be supporting.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins. Mr. Clanahan and Mr. Cross, I'll have you in a second, but as a matter of procedure, I'd like to vote on introducing the Rule 11 to begin with. All those in favor of Mr. Camisso's Rule 11?
Aye.
Say aye. Those opposed? Thank you. Just a matter of procedure. Mr. Clanahan.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I rise very much in support of this, and I want to thank the chair and our majority leader and Ms. McLean Lane and the sheriff for their leadership in this fight. We had an excellent presentation on this issue Thursday night, and I want to reiterate a point I made there and maybe elaborate a little bit more. No one factor alone is going to defeat this crisis. It's going to take education, law enforcement, treatment. Many factors will have to be taken into consideration to win this fight, but discussions about the use of the medical use of cannabis need to be part of the conversation. This is nothing revolutionary or new. When New York State passed a medical marijuana law, 22 states already had, and 6 more have since then. So at this moment, hundreds of thousands of patients across the country are benefiting from the medical use of cannabis. They're using it to treat serious illnesses, chronic pain, seizure disorders, and any number of issues. And often very effectively and often in place of the very opiates that we're talking about as the major source of this crisis tonight. So I'm very excited about joining this lawsuit, and I support this effort, and I want to thank our leadership for their role in this. But the use of medical cannabis as an alternative to opioids really needs to be part of the discussion. In the states that have medical marijuana, many of them show dramatically lower numbers of opioid deaths and opioid addictions. That is not a coincidence. In many cases, these medicines are being used as a substitute for these opioids. So, and it's not a coincidence, as I mentioned on Thursday night, that the biggest opposition to the use of medical cannabis is the very same pharmaceutical companies who are suing tonight for their responsibility in this crisis. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Monahan. Mr. Kraus?
No, thanks.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kraus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just trying to indicate this was the quickest moving piece of resolution we've ever fought on this floor. We started talking about it in order to finance committee, and it moved swiftly to a giant caucus with both sides of the aisle and the county executive support. And I'm glad to see that we're moving for this to be real law in Albany County. And I'm happy to say that the Commissioner of Health and the Mental Health Department are right on board with us in processing this throughout our community. We will be talking with the sheriff again at our Public Safety Committee in September at the New York State Association of County, where this piece of legislation was born from. The sponsor came from Erie County. But I'm so happy to say that we're now all conjoined with 20 other counties in New York State, as well as other states like Ohio and my own home state of West Virginia. We've got problems throughout America, and we're right there with them. But we're all part of the discussion, we are part of the solution, and I'm happy to say that we all going to vote yes for this resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just want to be clear that the answer to the opioid problem is multifaceted.
Absolutely.
Creating more awareness, number one. And we really can't be pointing the finger at one place. There's a number of folks involved. We need to make people more aware, and I think this lawsuit will do that. We also have to work more on prevention and also on treatment. Now, the issue here, I mean, painkillers are a good thing if you use them properly. Just ask anyone who's ever been in pain. So what we have, the purpose of the lawsuit is to apply more scrutiny to how the drug companies behave. If they, in fact, engaged in deceitful behavior, underestimating the addictive nature of these opiate drugs, then they should be held accountable for that. And that's ultimately what the courts are going to decide, how, what was their role in this opiate epidemic. But we should not lose sight of the fact that there's a lot of places to blame here, and there's a lot of work to be done in a multifaceted way, separate from this lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm. One roll call, please.
Heston.
In favor.
Bullock.
Yes.
Bergdorf.
Yes.
Monahan. Mr. Kraus. Diane.
Yes.
Votes. Dalton. Yes. Feeny.
Yes.
Klein. Grimm. Higgins.
Yes.
Joyce. Yes. Joyce. Scott.
Yes.
Lockhart. Morello. Mayo.
Yes.
McLean.
Absolutely.
Miller.
Yes.
O'Brien. Ryan.
Yes.
Sam Rock. Simpson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Shea. Kelly. Ward.
Yes.
Unanimous.
We have a motion to adjourn. Second, all those in favor? Aye.